The following paid commercial program is sponsored by National K-9 Academy. WNIS Radio and Sinclair Communications do not endorse or warranty any statements or claims that are made, or products or services that are offered by this sponsor.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Welcome to National K-9 Academy Radio. I'm your host, Dan Stallings, and along with my co-host, Dallas Boland.
Hi.
How you doing, Dallas?
I'm good.
And, of course, our producer, the man on the dials, Damien. How you doing, Damien?
Hey, doing good.
Good morning. How's your dog doing?
Good, really good. Going
Yeah.
on a puppy play date hike this afternoon. Beautiful day for it.
Awesome. Yeah, it should be in the 50s. I just heard your weather report.
Yeah, 50 degrees and sunshine. So
Awesome.
Can't
Yeah,
beat
I encourage everybody to get out and do more with their dog as soon as the show's over.
it. Yep. There you go.
Well, welcome back to the show. We are the area's only hour-long weekly radio show all about the dogs, and we're happy to be here on AM 790 WNIS. And we're going to start the show off with our So You Want a Dog segment, like we always do. Last week we talked about breed selection and the things that you should consider when you're choosing a breed. This week we're going to talk about getting a puppy versus an adult dog, because there's some huge differences. We're going to have a in-studio guest join us here in a little bit, and they're going to talk. They've adopted both an adult and a puppy from our rescue, from our Wyme rescue. And her name is Susan Hunter, and she has some very interesting insight that very few people have, having adopted both an adult and a puppy. So we look forward to her joining us here in the next segment. But when you're considering getting a dog and you've selected the breed, there are certainly some other things you need to consider, whether you want to get an adult, maybe a dog who's already settled in their ways, and they are what they are. They are what you see, versus a puppy, which obviously there's a lot of good things that go along with getting a puppy, but there's also a lot more work. I mean, they're cute, but they're also young and energetic. They can be destructive. They're cute.
Yeah.
They may need to be house trained. They'll certainly need to be obedience trained. They're cute. And that's why most people, jump right in and grab a puppy. And they also, they want to develop that bond with them. But as you know, Dallas, you've adopted 2 adult dogs. I have several. And I know you got this one as a puppy. Did you?
Yeah.
Did
But we've had adult dogs in the past.
Right.
So.
And I tell you, they bond so quickly, especially a rescue. And we've talked about this so many times. Dogs that are, especially the ones that are adopted, that are rescued, they have that sense of appreciation, and you know it. I mean, they are so affectionate. We've had people come in, they've gotten dogs from breeders and other places, and they always comment about how friendly our dogs are in the front lobby. Well, those were rescues, and they are very appreciative of the care and the love they get now, because some of them never had that before. One of our working dogs, Colby, he came to us at 4 years of age. His life, up until he came to us, was spent tied out in Appalachia, in the mountains, on a 50-foot run. His house was a 50-gallon barrel cut in half with some hay thrown in it. So now he's living inside with a bunch of other Wymes, running around a huge field. He's got a swimming pool. He's a working dog. So they have that sense of appreciation. So that's one of the things that you might consider. We get so many clients, you've seen this too, and they comment. Some of our clients know every dog in our front lobby, and they come in, they say hello to every one of them. We have a few children that come in when their parents are dropping off their dog for daycare during the day. They run around, and they don't even say goodbye to their dog. They go around and say goodbye to our dogs. And we have one little girl who will not leave to go to school until she says hello to Charlie every morning.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of the bond. Those aren't even their dogs, and they've developed that kind of bond. And that's something you get, when you get an adult dog. Obviously, if you get a puppy, you're going to develop that bond over time. And if I haven't mentioned already, they're cute, which is the biggest reason I think people get puppies. But they're a lot of work too, and that's something you need to consider. We just had our youngest puppy ever surrendered to us, a 3-month-old Weimaraner, a few months ago, and she's thankfully in a good, loving home now, and is prospering and doing well. She comes back to us every day for her training now. But some people jump right in and they don't realize how often they need to go out, how destructive they can be if you don't keep them busy. Have you dealt with that, Damien?
Not too much. We've been very lucky, but we give him lots of toys of his own. So
Yeah,
very lucky so far.
You're over there nodding your head.
Yeah. Oh, I've had the puppy before. I had a Australian Shepherd puppy that would get your homework, any piece of paper it could get, anything.
Oh, really?
On the floor.
Homework? You use that one? Did
It
you?
actually happened.
Yeah, okay.
It actually happened.
Really?
But it was convenient. It might have been self-induced.
Did the teacher buy that story?
She didn't like that. No.
I guess
she was like, "Well, you got another piece of paper and another pencil. You can transcribe that."
Well, we have 2 Australian Shepherds.
Yeah, exactly. And he keeps getting it. So yeah.
Sure. Okay. So, well, that is something, though. I mean, they can be destructive. They're mischievous. They will eat anything. We talked about that, when I first got Stone, how the next day he threw up some pebbles that I guess where the breeder he came from. But they will eat anything. GI obstructions are a huge risk with them. You really have to keep a close eye on them. Adult dogs, not so much. They're generally set in their ways. It varies by breed and even by dog, but generally when a dog hits 4 or 5 years of age, they tend to calm down a little bit and settle down, not get as destructive, not need as much exercise. Yeah.
Sure.
So,
and can I add something about that? The Australian Shepherd that we got her as a puppy from a breeder, and where if we would have gotten an adult dog, we wouldn't have faced the horrible, tragic issue that we did. But she had a dermodectic mange.
Dermodectic mange?
Yeah, she had a hereditary mange, as was explained to us, and in herding breeds, it's almost fatal to do the treatments. And it was a very, very bad story in a young puppy that really just had a really bad cards dealt to it, and actually didn't end up doing very well. So
that could have been a health thing with that particular.
And the breeder no longer bred anymore. They all stopped, but they were doing a pretty not so good thing. And if we would have gotten an adult dog in a rescue, you would have gotten past the stage of having your heart broken by realizing your dog was ill, very ill.
Mm-hmm. So. I mean, demodectic mange is not contagious.
Sure.
It's pre-existing mites that are on the surface of their skin. It generally is aggravated when they're under stress or if they get really sick. So it is a hereditary thing. But all dogs carry that mite. It's just usually inactive or they're not in population enough to cause problems. I'm not a vet. And we can have our vet come on in a few weeks when we talk about vaccines and address that. But
she had it real bad. Every month it was just all the fur on her face. And to do the treatment, she'd be drugged up for a month. And it just wasn't fair. So
okay. Yeah, it is something. And if you read some of the health issues with some of the breeds, it'll actually tell you that that's one of the reasons you maybe shouldn't breed that pair again because it could be something they're passing on. But
we weren't happy. We followed up on that, and they were no longer continuing. So
right, and then when you have a puppy, we'll talk about this in a few weeks when we have our local vet come on. You have all the vaccines you have to deal with. Weimaraners, for example, you have to worry about the reactions. They are well known to have reactions to vaccines as puppies, and you can't give them 4 or 5 ways like you can some other breeds. The house training. The obedience training, for example, some of our rescues, they're completely obedience trained. Think about that when you go to adopt, when you go look, if the dog's completely trained, house trained, social, friendly.
That's a lot of work already done.
You just add them to your family and enjoy them. And a lot of people have never had a well-trained dog. And, they're in for a surprise when they say, here, take them for a walk. And they're like, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's what it's like having a trained dog. And all of our guys are purebreds, but that's neither here nor there. It's just if people come to us looking for Weimaraners, you're going to get a Weimaraner. There are plenty of good mixed breed dogs. We have a lot of them that come to our daycare, and we've trained thousands of them now. There are a lot of good dogs in the SPCA's and the shelters, and it's just one of those things you need to consider. Just because you see a cute little puppy doesn't mean that you should run right out and get them. There are a lot of things you want to consider when you're thinking about doing that. So we want to make sure that you kind of address some of these issues. And our guest coming up here in our next segment, Susan Hunter, has dealt with both. She first adopted an adult from us and had a wonderful life with him. And then she recently adopted a much younger puppy from us, and she's going through some of the trials and tribulations now. So I think it's an interesting comparative that she can share with us. But again, puppies are wonderful, but they're a lot of work. So just make sure you're ready for that. And Damien, you got one, and you're having a blast with them. But
absolutely,
like today, you're going out with them after you're done here. I mean, you do things with your puppies, so make sure
we were training them just this morning, working on the sit, the stay, the come, the heel.
And so you're having fun with it. You've made them a big part of your life, and that's what you need to do if you're going to have a puppy. So any dog, hopefully, but especially a puppy, or they'll develop some bad habits very early on. So we'll be back in just a few minutes with Susan Hunter, and you're listening to National K-9 Academy on AM 790 WNIS.
Hampton Roads Community Foundation believes your will says a lot about you. Thank you, Gene Old, for all the good you continue to do in Hampton Roads. Before this longtime Norfolk stockbroker died in 2010, she arranged for a charitable bequest to the Hampton Roads Community Foundation. Recently, Gene Old's generosity funded a grant to help the Elizabeth River Project teach more students to be good stewards of our rivers. Visit leaveabequest.org to learn how you can be like Gene and forever make a difference in your community.
National K-9 Academy uses all of its 26,000 square foot fenced grass play area, 2 saltwater pools, and professional trainers to ensure all dogs get plenty of exercise, socialization, and obedience training each day. Every dog is individually trained by a professional trainer. They're the only training facility in the region offering a lifetime money-back guarantee. Call 289-2700. National K-9 Academy, where dogs play, stay, and train like a champion. Visit nationalk9academy.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Improvento with the law firm of Bright Drescher, Improvento, and Walker. I'm a biker and a lawyer. You know, motorcycle riders are the biggest victims of distracted drivers. On a good day, they just don't see us. When you add a cell phone or texting to that mix, it's just unacceptably dangerous. If they don't see you and your ride goes bad, call me, Mike Improvento, at the law firm of Bright Drescher, Improvento, and Walker. 622-6000. 622-6000.
The Surf Rider is a name known for over 33 years for the best seafood in the Tidewater area. Now the Surf Rider has 6 locations. Enjoy Cypress Point and Greenbrier Town Center, or choose one of the waterfront locations and arrive by boat to the Grill at Marina Shores, Vining's Landing at Little Creek, the Hampton Surf Rider next to Blue Water Yacht Club, and the newest location at the all-new White House Cove Marina in Pocosin. Surf Rider, Virginian pilots best at the beach for their quality crab cakes, fried oysters, awesome she crab soup, as well as other delicious entrees. Surf Rider restaurants. Like them on Facebook, or ask your server how to join the Surf Rider Fan Club to receive invitations to special events and upcoming seasonal specials. Surf Rider Restaurants. Quality food and casual, affordable, friendly dining. Surf Rider, the best seafood in Tidewater.
Welcome back to National K-9 Academy. Wouldn't it be nice to take your dog for a walk, a relaxing walk, instead of being drugged by the end of the lead, or coming home and without the dog jumping on you or your guests?
And we can help at National K-9 Academy. We offer all breed obedience training, and we do all the training for you. We offer both on and off lead obedience, trick training, both companion and competitive obedience, confirmation, and detection dog training. We offer money back guaranteed. Look us up on the web at www.nationalk9academy.com or call us at 757-289-2700.
National K-9 Academy, where your dog will stay, play, and train like a champion. We want to talk a little more about puppy versus adult, and we talked a little bit about some of the trials and tribulations that you're going to go through getting a puppy, and some of the things that you're going to need to deal with. And we'll have Susan Hunter joining us here in just a few minutes, who has adopted some of our rescues from us, both adult and puppies. So, again, some of the things that you're going to have to deal with besides the training is the house training. That's a huge reason why a lot of dogs are giving up. And people don't realize, how much effort it takes. It has to be done consistently. With adult dogs, you generally aren't going to have to deal with that. It's already been done. A lot of our rescues, we've done that kind of work for them, the adults. So it's not a big thing. That and the obedience are the main reasons dogs are giving up. And we've taken care of that. And a lot of rescues will do that kind of work because we try to prevent the dogs from being resurrendered. But again, with puppies, you're going to have to go through that yourself. And, it is part of the bonding process. I'm sure you went through that. How long did it take you to train your dog?
Well, when we got him, he was, I think, 7 or 8. I think he was 13 weeks old, actually. So he was actually already past that. So I think he peed in the house maybe once, and he never went number 2 in the house. So we were very lucky on that part.
Right. We generally take 3 to 4 weeks to do the house training.
I was going to ask you that. How long is it normally take?
It actually, we've done it in as little as 2 weeks, doing it consistently. And we spend the next week or two just kind of reaffirming that to make sure. And I jokingly tell people, we do guarantee our obedience training, but the only thing I'll guarantee with house training is if you leave your dog alone for 8 or 9 hours, I'll guarantee you what they will do. And you have to be fair to them. And I always ask people, when you go to work, how long do you hold it when you go to work? Generally, most people take, 1 or 2 breaks?
Easily.
And yet you're expecting your puppy to do something superhuman.
Yeah.
And that's not fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, with adult dogs, they can hold it a little bit longer. And we're talking about during the day, not overnight. That's different.
Do you ever find a difference between small dogs, like the lap style, small purse-sized dogs, or big dogs?
It's always more difficult to house train the smaller dogs by a huge margin. The terriers, the teacups, for example, are always more difficult. A lot of Yorkies we see for house training. And, they're very cute and people love them, but they also want them house trained. I guess the good news is, when they do have an accident, it's not like if you have a Great Dane in the house, that would be unlivable. But the smaller dogs are definitely more of a challenge to house train. So, but what we want to do now is bring in Susan Hunter. She's on the line with us. How you doing, Susan?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm very good. Good morning. I have Dallas here with me.
Hi. Good morning.
And thank you for joining us. And I wanted to have you come on the show because I think you provide a very unique perspective in that you've adopted both adults and young puppies from us. And I think the contrasts, and there's good and there's bad of both. I mean, Macy is awesome. She is full of energy. How old is Macy now?
Macy will be 2 in April.
Right. And then when you got Buddy from us, how old was he?
Buddy was 6.
Right. So first off, tell us a little bit about when you first got Buddy and some of the challenges that you had and how he responded and how he settled in and some of the things that you were doing with him.
Okay. Well, I adopted Buddy at 6 years old. I was really looking for a dog that would fit in with our current household. I had another adult dog at the time and had recently lost my black lab, who was really a senior citizen, and the dog that I had, Breeze, was very used to having company, and I was looking for a dog that would complement the personalities that we already had in the household. So an adult dog was the right choice at that point for us. We really were looking for a dog that was at about the same age as the one we had, so that they could be company for one another, but not be needing opposite issues.
Right.
A young dog needs a lot of exercise. So.
And you did some pretty interesting and amazing things with Buddy, with the therapy work and the reading program, things like that.
We did. Buddy, as an adult dog, he was very settled. It was very easy to know what his personality was like. I'm not certain what his background was, but he really wasn't a playing dog. Mm-hmm. He didn't want Frisbees. He didn't want balls. He didn't run around with other dogs, but he loved people. So I got him involved in the reading program at the elementary school and the K-9 companion program. They would bring animals into preschools to help children learn how to be a good pet parent, and we would give them lessons. And Buddy was just the calmest, most friendly dog. Even kids who were afraid of big dogs at the end would come up and pet him because he was very, very settled, very easy to take in any setting.
And Buddy was awesome, and that's what you get with an older dog. And for people that don't know, Buddy is going to be in our upcoming book called Beyond the Gray. His background was he was taken to a local vet that we know, and he'd gotten in the garbage, and he had not eaten or drank for like 3 days. So they couldn't afford the scans, the ultrasounds and x-rays to see what was going on. They were going to take him home. The vet was worried that he was going to die a slow, miserable death. They called and they signed him over to us over the phone, and we took care and assumed his medical care. And it turned out he had a corn cob stuck in his intestines, and he was going to die a very long, miserable death. And we were able to step in and save him. And Susan came along a few months later and adopted him. And he just had an amazing impact on some of those children. And he was calm. He was super friendly, and that's kind of some of the things that you'll get with an older dog. Now, you not too long ago, well, I guess it has been a little while, you adopted Macy from us. And she was surrendered to us by a family who didn't have time for her. And she was getting destructive. She was getting into things, and they surrendered her. And then once again, you stepped up, and you're one of our multi-time heroes. You adopted one of our rescues. And so tell us some of the differences between when you first got Buddy and when you first got Macy and some of the things you went through.
Well, Buddy was a very easy dog to bring into the household. Again, I think when they get a little older, they're more settled. Unless they come with some type of a behavior problem, which Buddy really didn't. We made sure he couldn't get into the trash, that's for certain. And he did seem to want those corn cobs the rest of his life. He would follow us around when we had him. But
so much for grain allergies.
Yeah. But Macy is much more of a full-time project. She's young. She's very energetic. She needs some type of exercise and stimulus multiple times throughout the day. So what we're finding with any young puppy, they're a joy to have around. They love being company with you, but they really require more time and more effort. It was the right time in our life to bring her in and to be able to give her that, but you definitely have to know what you're getting into when you've got a younger dog, because when I got my first Weimaraner puppy, I told someone, this dog's going to run 10 miles a day. I get to decide if it's inside or out.
And you bring her back to us.
I do.
Regularly, so she can run around, and she has a play mate as well, Cooper. But she's not ready to do any type of therapy work yet. She's still far too energetic and too much of a puppy, and she will get there, but she's not where Buddy was when you first got him.
Absolutely. She's too wound up, remains wound up when somebody comes in. We're working with her.
Mm-hmm.
On the weekends, I take them outside and throw the tennis ball or the frisbee, or we go to the dog park and give them a couple of hours of good running around with other dogs, because they just need that outlet. They're kind of like 5-year-olds.
Right.
If they don't send them outside, they're going to bounce off the wall.
And it's not just Weimaraners. Boxers, lab puppies can be the same, some of the terriers. But it's a completely different lifestyle. I mean, you're much more involved, and you have to be. She's forcing you to be. And she's cute as she could be. She is super friendly. We love her to death, and we miss her, but we're so glad that you gave her such a great home. And I have no doubt that she will do great things when you do get her involved in therapy work. But it's been a little more of a hands-on, as you said, a hands-on job with you, bringing a younger dog into the house. And it's one of those things we want to make sure people are aware of. There's a trade-off there. Yes, they're cute and they're playful, and you can hug them and kiss them all the time, but they need a lot of attention and a lot of work and a lot of exercise.
Right. And I think one of the things that's important if people are looking at getting a puppy is that the training be addressed right away. They don't need a settling in period. They don't need to get comfortable with everybody before you start that. Getting comfortable with everyone involves structure in their life, and they need that training, because the most often surrendered dog is the dog that never learned any manners.
Right, and we start full-on obedience training as young as 4 months.
I agree.
That's not puppy classes. Puppy classes are for the 2 and 3 month olds, training them to sit and down and maybe just to walk on a lead but not heel. We start full-on obedience, sit down, stay, come, heel, off, the pedicate where they learn how to greet people, and the no mouthing, how to go through doors and gates politely as young as 4 months. So the earlier the better. The dogs, you'll have more time to enjoy it. It's a better investment over the long haul, and they don't develop any bad habits that we have to address. So the earlier, the better, whether it's 4 months, a year old, do it as soon as you can. It will save you a huge headache, and the dog will be happier too.
Absolutely. As soon as you get a dog, it's time to start working with them. So, the Cooper, the pointer that we adopted, I think the reason he had been surrendered at least twice that I know of back to the same rescue is because he didn't have any socialization, he didn't have any manners. And once we've worked on those, he's he's the easier dog to walk. He's the easier dog to greet.
Mm-hmm.
He's his personality is just a little more calm than Macy, but he was surrendered twice because of behavior problems, and I think it all stems from no obedience.
And you're such a great home and a great owner, and I'm so happy that Macy ended up with you. Thank you so much for joining us, Susan, and we look forward to seeing you and Macy and Hunter soon.
All right, thanks, Dan.
All right, take care.
All right,
All right, we will be back in just a few minutes. You're listening to National K-9 Academy Radio on AM 790 WNIS.
Friday, they too were killed. Secretary General Ban Ki-moon says the mission of the United Nations in Afghanistan will not be deterred.
We remain committed to work for the peace, stability, and development of Afghanistan. We fully support this transition of Afghanistan toward the better future.
The Taliban says the attack was in retaliation for a U.S. drone strike. Officials both here and in Canada are anxious to see the Keystone Pipeline project approved.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister John Baird went on the record last week saying we can't continue in this state of limbo. The time for a decision on Keystone is now, even if it's not the right one. The pipeline would bring a new route for shipping oil from Western Canada to refineries in Texas.
Fox Radio, Steve Taylor, Fox News. We report, you decide.
National K-9 Academy uses all of its 26,000 square foot fenced grass play area, 2 saltwater pools, and professional trainers to ensure all dogs get plenty of exercise, socialization, and obedience training each day. Every dog is individually trained by a professional trainer. They're the only training facility in the region offering a lifetime money-back guarantee. Call 289-2700. National K-9 Academy, where dogs play, stay, and train like a champion. Visit nationalk9academy.com.
Hey, it's your friend Sean Hannity, and I could tell you firsthand from moving across this great country that bad advice from your real estate agent can cost you time and a whole lot of money. You, however, have a great American right in your backyard that puts his money where his mouth is and takes the stress out of selling a home. Now, I'm talking about Lonnie Bush of RE/MAX First, who guarantees to sell your home at a price and a deadline that you agree to, or guess what? He'll buy it. Now, Lonnie is not your typical realtor that sticks a sign in your yard and hopes that a buyer finds you. He uses dozens of aggressive marketing strategies, the ones that create demand on his homes and help them consistently sell for the most money. And working with Lonnie is easy. If you're not happy, guess what? You can fire him and pay nothing. His national marketing plan got my attention, and he'll get your home the attention it needs to sell for the most money guaranteed. So give Lonnie a call, 271-9971. 271-9971, or go to the web, LonnieBush.com. That's LonnieBush.com.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. They understood how we were all feeling. They just cared. Because of Home Instead Senior Care, Mom now has a caregiver who can help her stay home. But more importantly, they've made an incredible connection I never expected. And Home Instead changed my life, too. I've found balance again, and most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
For a free in-home assessment, call 631-7744. That's 631-7744.
This is a paid commercial program that is sponsored by National K-9 Academy. WNIS Radio and Sinclair Communications do not endorse or warranty any statements or claims that are made, or products or services that are offered by this sponsor.
Welcome back to National K-9 Academy Radio. I'm your host, Dan Stallings, with my co-host, Dallas.
Hello.
And Damien on the dials. And this segment is brought to you by Maverick Detection Services, the country's largest independent K-9 bedbug detection team with 8 certified dogs working right now in this area, and the region's only K-9 geese control team with 6 geese control K-9s, highly trained dogs We take care of both commercial and residential problems for both bed bugs and geese. You can reach us on the web at todetectandtoserve.com. That's our company motto. You can call us at 855-597-7827. We've been featured in the local business journal with our geese control. We've been on the news several times for our bed bug dogs, and we have a huge announcement coming up in a couple of weeks here, mid-March. And we're joined in the studio by one of our handlers, our out-of-town handlers, as we are in several states. We're in Ohio, Maryland, Tennessee, Northern Virginia, and obviously southeastern Virginia. And joining us from our Maryland, our district manager from Maryland. How you doing? This is Melisaa Kilgannon. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good.
She came down to visit her dog who's training with us, Judge. And one of the unique things about Maverick Detection Services is very unique with detection dogs is that each of our handlers has had their dogs for years prior to undergoing the training for bed bug detection and geese control. We didn't go out and get dogs to do this. We actually had our dogs. We've done some pretty amazing things with most of them, and then we decided to evaluate them and then have them trained. And you've come down, 4 or 5 times now to visit Judge?
Yeah, it's really hard to have him down here, but I know that he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's obviously, you saw yesterday, he's quite comfortable. He jumped up in the chair and laid there.
He's definitely a lot more comfortable than he is at home.
Yeah. And now, he's going to be coming back to you here in a few more weeks. And I know in Ohio and Tennessee, they've already got some business lined up with the geese control. They're already doing that. And then also they've got people waiting for them for some bed bug work, some bed bug detection stuff. And it's extremely busy up in the D.C. area. So you're going to have your hands full.
I know I am.
Yeah. Are you going to be ready for that? I know Judge will be.
Yeah, I've got Judge, so he'll lead me, and I'm sure we'll do great.
Yeah. Now, what made you interested in this kind of, besides the fact that Judge had the ability and he tested well, he evaluated out, and he's doing well with the training, what got you interested in becoming a bed bug dog handler?
Primarily, I like that he's training for it, and I know that he needs it, and he loves doing it, so that really drives me. If he's really happy, then I'm really happy doing it. There is a high need for this where we are, so that was something that added to it too.
Right, and you're a school teacher, right?
Yes.
And I think you told me there have been issues at school.
We've had issues a couple times, and I'm sure there are other schools in D.C. that have had issues. Right. It's just a big issue in D.C.
All over.
All over.
Yeah, we've had issues in several cities with the schools here. It's been in the news several times over the last year. So.
Yeah, I've had kids come into school just full of bites, and they just,
wow.
For months and months, and parents just try everything, and it's just sad to watch.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have a great dog there in just a few weeks. Then you'll be able to jump right in. It sounds like you've already got quite a bit of work lined up for you as well.
We're just ready for Judge, just waiting for him.
Yeah, and the cool thing is what you said. It's not just for working dogs. It's for people that have dogs, period, is doing something with your dog they enjoy doing, whether it's taking your dog hiking like you do a lot, Damien, or, I know Dallas, your dogs like to do the geese control. It's maybe what we consider work, but it's fun for them. And they don't know. And if you watch the videos on todetectandtoserve.com, look at the dogs' tails when they're working, when they're training. They're having a blast. And we're really just there to kind of chaperone them. We're to stay out of their way. They know what they're there for, and they're excited to do it. And that's the cool thing. That's part of the training when it's done right. They're excited to do it. They're happy to do it. They're not being forced. They're doing it because they want to, because it's challenging. They're using all their senses. They're using a lot of their instincts. And that's one reason, we use Wyme runners is they're hunting dogs who used to working independently, but they're very attached to their owners as Judge is to you. So, and the art of handling a detection dog is the relationship between the handler and the dog. And I think that's what's so unique about us. We've had our dogs for so long. We know our dogs well. You've had Judge since he was a puppy.
Yeah, he came into our lives when he was 10 weeks old.
And much like we were talking earlier, it was a lot of work, right?
It was an extremely amount of work.
Right.
Yeah.
And well, now you have your, how old is your child?
My son is 10 months.
And for people that don't know this, just outside the studio, we have 2 adult men trying to babysit a small child. I'm not sure how that's going. I don't even know where they are now.
They're both gone. Yeah. That's
Uh-oh.
nightmare.
Okay, well, we'll address that here in just a second. But But and so you've had the puppy and you've had a child, and it's very similar. I mean, getting up in the middle of the night to let them out, and the child, to feed, it's very similar to raising a small child.
Oh, I'm getting 2 thumbs up. Everybody's okay.
Okay. Okay. Everybody's sorry.
Yeah, I've told my husband many times. I'm like, you know what? After dealing with Judge when he was a puppy, this is a piece of cake.
Right. And there are a lot of people, who don't want children because they're not ready for it, and yet they're going to go out and get a puppy, and they don't realize it's a lot of work.
It's just as hard.
It's extremely rewarding.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I love my puppies, but it's a lot of work, and you have to be willing to do that. And it's just like Damien; they're a part of his life every week or weekend. Sure. He's doing things with them, just as we are with ours.
Yeah, I think one of the big problems is that your kids speak up, but a lot of time dogs won't. They'll show it in a different way, maybe through eating your furniture.
Right, or digging or barking.
Yeah.
Bad behavior.
That's where people get upset, but they do need time.
And one of the things we're doing with the working dogs is we're giving them something to do. I mean, a lot of our guys have already had things to do, whether it was dock diving, conformation, competitive obedience. But by giving them a job, and our guys are working pretty much every day now, except maybe Sundays. And actually, we'll be out doing geese control. Usually, as soon as I leave here, there's a stop between here and home where we do geese control, and I usually swing by there. And you should see, if I have Ginny or Alvin or Duke or Indy in the car, they are looking out the window. It's like they go into search mode before we even stop. They're looking out the windows to trying to find the geese, and it's giving them something to do, something they look forward to. We get a lot of clients that say when they pull into our parking lot, the dogs start going crazy and barking. They're all excited because they know all their friends are there. That's how our dogs get when we pull into a place. And the thing that I've noticed recently is we picked up a few new apartment complexes for the bed bug control. They know now when we pull into a big apartment complex, even if it's not one we've been to before, when we slow down, they get all excited because they know what's about to happen. And they love doing that. They look forward to it. And it's something they get to do with us, and we get to do with them. So it's kind of cool, like you were saying, to watch them do something they're excited to do, and then watch how well they'll work for you and how hard they'll work for you. So it's going to be kind of an interesting experience for you, but I think you're really going to enjoy it.
I think so. I think, as I was telling you yesterday, one of the mistakes I think I made was giving Judge exercise, but not enough mental stimulation.
Right.
Yeah, and, dogs are smart, and they want to work, and they want to do things.
Right.
And I think this is also going to give him that.
And one of the things that we make a good detection dog are dogs that are good problem solvers. And that's one reason, again, I like wine runners. They're good problem solvers. They will work and work and work at something until they figure out how to get what they want. It's also one of the drawbacks when you have them as a pet dog. If you don't give them something to do, they will do things. We just recently found out Big Blue can open up every door in our building from either side whenever he wants, as Diesel can do. And there's videos on To Detect and To Serve. If you go check out the area about our teams under Home Team, you'll actually see Diesel doing some problem-solving things that will amaze you and just make you laugh. But, they work hard, and they try to get what they want, and we've just focused that into bed bug detection or geese control, and it is just outstanding to watch them. Even on some of the videos, if you check out Maverick Detection on Twitter, you'll see videos that we've posted. And on the Maverick Detection Services Facebook page, we put some videos up, and I can't help but laugh. No matter how many times I've seen it, it just cracks me up, like when Alvin went running 100 yards and just leapt into that pond. Or when two of the guys are running next to each other and they start bumping into each other, chasing after the geese. They're just so focused on that. It's like NASCAR racing with wine runners. But the things they do is just hysterical to watch, and they're actually working and having the time of their life. They're getting a lot of exercise. They're getting a lot of mental stimulation, a lot of physical stimulation, and it's just a win-win for everybody, and they happen to be doing a service for our clients and in some cases the community. So I think you're going to be a big asset to the area up there. And Northern Virginia and Maryland are going to keep you quite busy, you and Judge. And I have a feeling you're going to end up, I think we talked about Peyton.
Yeah.
You're interested in Peyton.
Getting Judge a little sister.
Yeah, I think Peyton won you over yesterday.
Oh my goodness, she's adorable.
She's one of our rescues that's up for adoption, and she is a goofball. We call her the dumb blonde, but she's just a big goofball, and she's just as happy and as goofy as she could be. She's like a wine runner with a lab mentality. Just a big happy goof.
I think we made a special connection yesterday.
Yeah, and so did she and Judge. But the way they were playing with each other and stuff, so it was kind of cool. So you may end up with two working dogs up there instead of just the one.
Yeah, I love that.
So, well, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us and coming down, and we'll see you again in a few weeks, and we will have a major announcement about Maverick Detection Services mid-March. So we'll definitely see you then. But thank you again. Safe trip home. And we'll be back in just a few minutes with Kristine LaCoste with our petsadvisor.com Dog News of the Week. You're listening to National K-9 Academy Radio on AM 790 WNIS.
The greatest threat to America is the $17.3 trillion in federal debt and over $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities owed to Social Security, Medicare, pensions, and other entitlement programs. This is Steve Burton, president of Equity One, and I've been warning that the debt would lead to slow economic growth, market volatility, higher taxes, and high unemployment. If you're concerned about these things, then join us at the Roost Chris Steakhouse in Virginia Beach on Thursday, February the 6th, or at the Riverstone Chop House in Suffolk on Tuesday, February the 11th. Call 1-877-313-4080. You will learn things about your 401ks, TSPs, IRAs that most people don't know. Learn how to maximize your income while working and how to create a lifetime of retirement income. To join us at the Roost Chris Steakhouse on Thursday, February the 6th, or at the Riverstone Chop House in Suffolk on Tuesday, February the 11th at 6:30 p.m., call 1-877-313-4080 or online at cashflowmoneywave.com.
National K-9 Academy uses all of its 26,000 square foot fenced grass play area, 2 saltwater pools, and professional trainers to ensure all dogs get plenty of exercise, socialization, and obedience training each day. Every dog is individually trained by a professional trainer. They're the only training facility in the region offering a lifetime money-back guarantee. Call 289-2700. National K-9 Academy, where dogs play, stay, and train like a champion. Visit nationalk9academy.com. United Funding Corp provides creative real estate solutions to home sellers facing home repairs that you can't afford right now. An inherited home not ready for the market, one that's just not selling, or you're an unhappy landlord. Their creative real estate solutions team consists of real estate investors, brokers, and agents. Visit UnitedFundingCorp.com or call Michael Brown at 438-3838. 438-3838. Discover the creative real estate solutions available today from United Funding Corp.
The Hampton Roads Community Foundation believes your will says a lot about you. Thank you, Gene Old, for all the good you continue to do in Hampton Roads. Before this longtime Norfolk stockbroker died in 2010, she arranged for a charitable bequest to the Hampton Roads Community Foundation. Recently, Gene Old's generosity funded a grant to help the Elizabeth River Project teach more students to be good stewards of our rivers. Visit leaveabequest.org to learn how you can be like Gene and forever make a difference in your community.
Welcome back to National K-9 Academy Radio. I'm your host, Dan Stallings, with my co-host, Dallas.
Hello.
And producer, Damien. And our guest in the studio still here, Melissa. And we have joining us on the line now is Kristine LaCoste from petsadvisor.com. How you doing, Kristine?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Hey, Kristine.
Hi, Dallas.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Ready for some pet news?
All right. Now, what's the first story I'm hearing about a puppy that blows up a house?
A 6-month-old greyhound mix named Zeus. He was doing what puppies do, and that's chewing on things, but unfortunately he got a hold of an aerosol can. It was a can of deodorant. Had been left within his reach. His owners had left the house, and they actually pierced the can by chewing on it, and a heat from a nearby lamp caused it to ignite. So it actually caused an explosion that set things on fire, and about $3,500 in damage was done.
Is the puppy
Luckily,
okay?
Nobody was injured. The dog was fine. Obviously, the house, things can be replaced.
This was a can of deodorant?
It was an aerosol deodorant can that was punctured.
He blew. Wow.
There were 6 pets in the home, and all of them were fine. So it's at least a good ending.
Wasn't somebody just talking about puppies versus adults in here? I can't remember. Blew up an aerosol can.
Home, and a lot of people really forget that. It's not like you have a dog and it's just a dog. They're going to get into anything they can reach.
That is, I didn't know aerosol cans would explode like that.
Yeah, with the heat source. Yeah.
Wow. I guess use roll-on from now on.
Yep, and thank goodness it wasn't a paint can. That's a much bigger explosion.
Yeah.
Don't ask why.
You want to talk about this later after the show, Damien?
All right, what else you got for us, Christine?
Well, this next story is kind of funny. This is coming out of Staffordshire, England. There are motorways, what we would call interstates, throughout England, and they have traffic cameras set up, much like we do in some places here. And there was a problem with the traffic cameras actually recording the cars and their speed because there was a parrot who was taking selfies on the traffic cam. When they looked at the cam, because they were getting reports that it wasn't working, they found pictures of a parrot who was just standing in there staring at the camera, but he was also blocking the view of all of the vehicles. So they weren't able to catch any speeders for 1 or 2 days, and a parrot is not native to that area, so it's obviously someone's pet that's gotten loose. So they put out a notice, if this is your parrot, please keep it home.
Well, how fast was the parrot going, though?
I don't think he got a ticket, but, they definitely want him to go home.
Sounds like a well-trained parrot, though. We have to try that around here. We have two parrots in our front lobby, Rocky and Scooter.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we had the dogs took selfies a few weeks ago. We put that on our Facebook page. I have to keep an eye on my phone, make sure the parrots don't get there if they're doing the selfies now. Interesting. That was in England?
Yep, Staffordshire, England. It was on the M6 motorway.
Cool. And so did they catch the parrot?
As far as I know, they haven't. They just shared what they call mugshots of the birds, and thought hopefully their owner will see it and keep the parrot at home.
They have little handcuffs on them, cuff his feet, shackles.
Really small handcuffs. You could probably take a twisty tie from a bread bag.
Public enemy number one.
Yeah. Talking about training dogs and tricks, if you've ever heard of Stack on Jack, the 4-year-old Jack is an Australian cattle dog that has kind of gotten a little fame on the internet. His owners stack things on his head, and he's trained to be so still that they've put anything from filled jars to martini glasses, and they take pictures of it and they share them. It's actually inspired them to reach out to their fans for ideas for what to stack on Jack's head, and they ended up starting a website where they show all the pictures and still take suggestions for what to do, and that's stackonjack.com, so it could be pretty funny to check out.
I'll be afraid to kind of check to see what people have come up with to stack on Jack's head. He must have a little flat forehead now.
It looks like it's actually on the top of his muzzle where they balance everything.
He can balance a martini glass on his muzzle?
I think it's a champagne flute.
Cool.
You have to go look at the pictures, but they do everything from ornaments, present boxes, food, dog treats. They stack them up, and he just sits there.
We put that on our dog's nose, too, the treats, and they disappear. It's weird. They do tricks, too. They make treats disappear.
Our next story also is about fire, but hopefully a good ending. This happened in Alabama. Firefighter displayed compassion earlier this month when he went into a burning home. For the second time, he went back in once he learned that an 11-week-old pit bull puppy named Sadie was still inside. The Priceville Volunteer Fire Department responded to the fire, got the flames out, but he was informed by the homeowner, David Wilson's the firefighter, after he left that the dog was still there. So he re-entered the house, which was completely filled with smoke still, and they found the dog lying unconscious on the bathroom floor. But once they were outside, they, supply oxygen to the dog and tried to revive her. And within a few minutes, she was breathing again.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Most of the first responders, firemen and paramedics, know how to do animal CPR now for cats and dogs. They actually have little masks that are special for them. We took it at our place. First aid and CPR for all of our staff. But that's very cool. Now, were these the guys that were on Oprah? Do you know? Or no, it was Ellen. It was Ellen. They had some firemen on Ellen DeGeneres show like a week or so ago. I read somewhere in the news. So I don't know if that was the same one or a different one. But that's pretty cool. He went back in and was able to save the puppy.
I want to think that the other one that was on Ellen was in the New England area, possibly, because I remember they were given. I read a story about they were given cruise tickets ahead of return.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Oh, that's right. That's right.
This is the Priceville Volunteer Fire Department. I
think
the other one was in the New England area.
Yeah, we'll have to follow up on that and see whatever happened with those tickets, if they were allowed to keep them. Or that's pretty cool, though.
Yep. Our next story actually involves a coyote. This is, you ever heard, the cartoon Wile E. the Coyote? Well, a family actually has a coyote, and they've named it Wiley. He's been a pampered pet of this family who lives in Wisconsin for 3 years. The coyote's mother was killed, so it was abandoned in the wild, and they found him, the father did, and actually brought him into his home. gave him a name, and just figured, they'd raise him, and if he was going to be wild, they'd at least, release him later. He ended up being as domesticated as any other puppy. He, sleeps with them. He plays like a dog. He doesn't have any of those wild instincts, and he's just another family pet.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. We had a client a couple weeks ago that told us that they saw a coyote run in front of them at the ocean front, at Virginia Beach, just a few blocks from the ocean front. I was shocked, but apparently there are some coyotes in this area. You were telling me, Damien, they have some in the swamp?
Yeah, in the Dismal Swamp, there's supposedly coyotes had mixed with red wolves or were released on the Carolina side to control some sort of populations of stuff, and they're out there.
That's news to me. I had no idea we had coyotes in this area.
And this one's pretty pampered. His diet consists mainly of cooked venison and fried eggs, and he actually refuses to eat uncooked meat.
So when he goes out, he's going to eat deer and chicken when they do let him go.
I don't know if they're going to let him go. It looks like he's pretty much a permanent family member now.
And they're taking him to the vet and getting him treated like a normal companion domestic dog and everything?
It doesn't mention that. I'm not sure if they've gotten him neutered or done shots or anything. It doesn't mention that.
Neutering a coyote. Never thought about that. Interesting. We'll have to follow up on that and find out how that's going. And, I wonder if any trainers will touch that one. I've never trained a coyote. I've trained a tribal dog, but I've never trained a coyote.
Interacting with the family, there's a video on the news article that we published, so you can actually see the family, see the coyote, interact with him if you want to.
That's on Pets Advisor?
So at petsadvisor.com, on the top, just click the Buzz button, and you'll find it.
Cool. Okay.
And before we run out of time, I do really want to cover 3 forgotten adoptables. Now, this is a Magic moment. We mentioned this last week.
Mm-hmm.
Magic and Spirit were husky mixes and brothers. They were transferred from an animal control and taken in by Texas Husky Rescue. They were both treated for their injuries and recovered great. Magic, unfortunately, lost an eye from an old injury, but they removed the eye, and then he recovered fine. His brother Spirit got adopted right away. Magic's been still sitting, waiting for a home, going on 2 years now. So if you are in, let's see, where is that? It's Texas Husky Rescue. So if you're in Texas, know someone who is, Magic would really, really like a home. He's been waiting for 2 years by himself without his brother.
And are there pictures of him on Pets Advisor as well?
There is an article about him. We do have photos, and also you can contact Texas Husky Rescue or go to their website. I believe it's texashuskyrescue.org, and there's pictures of him on there. He did go to an adoption event last weekend. Unfortunately, he's still waiting for a home.
Well, we've had. I think we mentioned this last week. We had Jack that had one eye. One of our Weimaras got adopted out, and then for our listeners, Susan Hunter. We mentioned Cooper, the German short-hair pointer. He actually has one eye. There's nothing wrong. They act like normal dogs. It's just they look like they're winking at you the whole time.
Mm-hmm. That's what their staff calls it. They call it a permanent wink. And they said he's great with other dogs. He's excited to see people. He's got a really good temperament. He's just, still waiting, unfortunately.
Yeah, and one of our working dogs, Cooper, he's a 3-legged bed bug detection dog. Obviously, he doesn't do geese control for obvious reasons, but there's nothing wrong with these guys. They just have a slight disability, which they typically overcome. You don't even notice anything. There's videos of Cooper running around in our field, acting like a normal dog on todetect.toserve.com. And again,
they're very resilient.
Exactly. Yeah, they recover, and you would never know Cooper was missing a leg if you didn't stop and look at him, the way he runs around and plays. And so hopefully somebody will give Magic a chance, and we'll have to follow up on that. And please let us know if he does get adopted.
I'm going to be checking every single week. Also, the other one I want to mention too, and this is kind of hard to imagine. These 2 dogs, we've got brother and sister chow mixes. They're called Gwen and Rowdy. They've actually been in the shelter over 7 years.
Oh my gosh!
And I can't imagine how 2 dogs are still in the shelter for that long, but they are. They get media attention the past year and a half since they passed the 6-year mark. They're constantly in the news, and we've published a couple of articles as well. 6-year mark, 7-year mark. They're still there.
Wow!
These 2 dogs are chow mixes. All they've known is a shelter life. They were adopted once, but for the owner's reasons, they were returned. It wasn't anything to do with the dogs.
Okay.
And
We'll
they're
have to
committed to each other. So
we'll have to post a story on our Facebook page, on the National K-9 Academy Radio Facebook page, and we'll look for them on Pet Finder. It should be on Pet Finder too.
The article that we did with pictures of them and some more links to the shelter. But if you live in the Houston area or know anyone that might be interested in taking these 2 dogs, email address for the contact is Marlene at ForgottenPetAdvocates.com. and then I'll get you that link.
Awesome. All right, Kristine, thank you so much. We look forward to hearing more PetsAdvisor.com dog news of the week next week. And we will appreciate you guys listening to us. We will be back next week on National K-9 Academy Radio right here on AM 790 WNIS.
Preceding paid commercial program was sponsored by National K-9 Academy. WNIS Radio and Sinclair Communications do not endorse or warranty any statements or claims that are made, or products or services.
AM 790 WNIS Norfolk.
News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.